So Michael Jordan, who's been notoriously silent on political issues for business reasons, finally decided to speak up on the issue of violence. So on ESPN's The Undefeated, he said the following: "I can no longer stay silent. We need to find solutions that ensure people of color receive fair and equal treatment, and that police officers are respected and supported. As a proud American, a father who lost his own dad in a senseless act of violence, and a black man, I have been deeply troubled by the deaths of African Americans at the hands of law enforcement and angered by the cowardly and hateful targeting and killing of police officers. I grieve with the families who have lost loved ones, as I know their pain all too well." He continues here, "The problems we face didn't happen overnight and they won't be solved tomorrow. But if we all work together, we can foster greater understanding, positive change, and create a more peaceful world for ourselves, our children, and our families and our communities." So he goes on to say that he's donating $1 million to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, one of the oldest civil rights groups in the country, and $1 million to the International Association of Chiefs of Police's Institute for Community Police Relations. So I think this is fantastic because, notice, he's doing the same thing that LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony did at the ESPYs. He's coming out there and he's not just giving one side. He's not just saying, it's only innocent black men being gunned down by police officers. Now, that's a gigantic problem, and he addresses that. But he also says, okay, look, let's keep it real. Recently, we've seen multiple instances of murder of police officers. That's not okay. So he's saying both these things are a problem. We have to come together, and we have to be productive, and we have to find solutions. And then, look, he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's donating to a police fund that works on community police relations, and he's donating to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. I mean, I couldn't like this move any more than I do. So it's great. Michael Jordan did a wonderful thing here. But as I said in the situation at the ESPYs, where they gave the great speech, the basketball players, I think he should have gone a little bit further, and that would have gone a long way. Because what happens is, oftentimes it gets lost in the noise of all the problems. It's just this amorphous feeling of anger and despair, and we have to fix this, but we're not going to be specific on how to fix this, and it's just, let's all just release this stress and this energy. But that's not the real answer, because there is no answer embedded in there. There's no answer in let's all feel anger and grief and despair together, but try to fix this in a vague way. No, there are specific real-world answers to make it so that this doesn't happen as often as it does. So I would have loved it if LeBron or Carmelo or Chris Paul or Dwayne Wade or if Michael Jordan or if any huge sports star or celebrity came out and said, okay, here's what I'm in favor of. What we need to do is have body cameras on all police officers. Now, it's not foolproof. We saw sometimes these things are recorded and the cops still get away. Eric Gardner comes to mind. But if you have body cameras, studies show that cops are less likely to engage in the violent action to begin with. They're more likely to de-escalate up front when they know they're being recorded. So, body cameras for all cops, solution number one. Solution number two, community policing. Have people from the community police the community, and then it's more likely you're going to understand, oh my God, that's Miss Johnson's kid. I got to be careful here because I know Miss Johnson. My mom and Miss Johnson are friends, or whatever the case is. Community policing is another thing that's a good solution. De-escalation training. Right now, cops are trained too quickly to go to their guns. If you train them more in de-escalation tactics, there's going to be fewer instances of shootings. And, of course, end the drug war. That would be the most controversial if Michael Jordan or LeBron James or somebody came out for that. But honestly, I think that's the root cause of the problem here. Because when you have the drug war, read the new Jim Crow. You have the drug war. What you've done is you've legalized a police state in poor black communities. You've given the cops a green light to, for any reason whatsoever, go after random black people. Because, hey, I don't know, you might have some weed on you. I don't know, you may have some coke on you. I don't know, whatever, I'm going to search you. Hey, I see you doing something I think is a little fishy. Now I'm going to search you. Now I found a little bit of weed. Now you have a record. So, and black people and white people use drugs at similar rates. Black people are arrested for it 4 times more often. So this is borne out in the numbers, where you have a green light for the police, to go into the community, a black community, and just go, okay, you, give everybody a record, ruin their chances at potential jobs down the road, tarnish their record, and make it so that you're handicapping them from the beginning all over a little bit of weed. Again, meanwhile, in white communities, they do drugs at similar rates, and they just don't get caught as much, and they don't have a record because who knows? As Michael Wood says, former cop in Baltimore, you don't know if you're grabbing a judge's son if you get a white kid with some weed. So you have to address the core problem, which is the drug war, which a legalized police occupation in poor black communities and poor white communities, by the way, just to a lesser extent because the racial disparity is so clear when it comes to the war on drugs. So just be a little more specific to any superstar out there, any athlete, a little more specific as to how to fix this, and I think it will go a long way, and then maybe some of your fans put pressure on Congress people, and we can really get to a place where maybe we get some good legislation to change things.